Welcome to the Johnny Fongo Show. I am Johnny Fongo. It is March 13th, 2021. A little bit about the show. This show is about sharing my research in the cannabis sector, particularly publicly traded companies. We will look at everything cannabis, THC, CBD, hemp, and everything in between. Some stories we look into, we'll look at companies that are not publicly traded. I am not a financial advisor. I am just a regular guy. I'm a big fan of the plant, a big fan of investing, big fan of trading, and I'm a big fan of research. So I hope you enjoy the information I share. Any stock or company I talk about is not a recommendation to buy it. It's more a recommendation to learn more about the company if it fits into your strategy. I want to thank you all for taking the time to listen. Please feel free to visit us at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube. This show is available on multiple platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Kindle Music, Spreaker, Podchaser, Podcast Addict, Deezer, Giovanni, a streaming service in India. With that being said, let's get to it. Okay, this is the Saturday recap show. We're going to run through some headlines from Friday. Going to discuss basically what's been going on this week in cannabis and other areas. First off, we got to talk about Mexico. They're about ready to legalize. And wow. And here's the United States just poking along. But hey, Mexico, congratulations. You're ahead of the game. That's going to be a huge game changer when it does happen. Also, this news about British American Tobacco doing some work with Organigram. That's been a huge changer in the momentum of the price of Organigram. As of end of day yesterday, $4.44 is what it's trading at. Before that news, it was $2.89. So I got a little bit of it on the way up. I've been in and out of Organigram many times, almost like a revolving door type thing. I'm a big fan of it. Canadian producer. In a nice price range. It seems to move a nice bit amount, so you can make some nice profit on it. The options are reasonable on it, so it's also another way to play it with options. Organigram. I think you're going to be hearing a lot more out of these guys with this huge investment from British American Tobacco. All right, let's get into some headlines, and then we'll stop in and look at a few select stories and just kind of recap the week and get you ready for next week. Let's start off here. Harvest Health and Recreation Incorporated to hold fourth quarter and full year 2020 earnings conference call on March 30th, 2021. That came out at 8 a.m. yesterday morning from PR Newswire. Beating the organic drum here again. Organic Gam thing. Organic Gam price target doubled by Raymond James on shiny new partnership with British American Tobacco. We were just discussing that. Something to keep an eye on. I'm sorry, that came out at 8:03 a.m. from Market Watch. Global hydroponics market is estimated to account for $716.25 million by the end of 2027, says Coherent Market Insights, CMI. Coherent Market Insights, 8:20 a.m., Globe Newswire. Power REIT acquires property in Colorado for greenhouse cannabis cultivation in highly accretive transaction. Power REIT. I've been looking at those. I think it's PW is the symbol. We'll look at that story a little bit more. That's kind of like a junior version of IIPR, I think, from what I've seen. All right, next, Heritage Global to participate in MVest LLC and Maxim Group LLC inaugural Emerging Growth Virtual Conference. I was in a Benzinga virtual conference a couple of weeks ago. Poked in on it and listened to it and watched it on and off most of the day. And pretty interesting. I would probably do it again. Curaleaf announces participation in Roth Capital Partners' virtual 33rd annual conference, 8:30 a.m. on the PR Newswire. Australia completes a definitive agreement to acquire Green Therapeutics LLC. Came through at 8:40 a.m. Friday morning, PR Newswire. Be Real discusses his path to success in music, cannabis, collabs with Burner, and more. 8:59 a.m. Benzinga. Vencana Ventures announces significant investment in and execution of letter of intent with the Cannavative Group LLC. 9 a.m. PR Newswire. 22nd Century Group receives additional $3.7 million from cash exercise of outstanding warrants. 10 a.m. Globe Newswire. Weed MD announces closing of a $17.25 million bought deal offering. 10:47 a.m. Globe Newswire. Why the British American tobacco investment in Organigram is important. 12:43 p.m. Benzinga. BC Craft announces debt settlement. That came at us at 3 p.m. Friday afternoon from the Globe Newswire. The Flower Corporation files final prospectus in connection with bought deal public offering. 4 p.m. from the Globe Newswire. That came up. CanTrust announces change to board of directors. 4:45 p.m. PR Newswire. The week in cannabis. Big Tobacco MSO goes to Europe, Mexico, D.C., and more. This is from Benzinga at 4:48 p.m. I've already looked over this one. It's a pretty it's just a nice overview of what's gone on this week. We'll look at that one, look through some of the stuff, and talk about a few things. Sixth Wave announces non-brokered private placements of units. 5 p.m. news file. Pharmadrug provides update on its annual general meeting. 5:08 p.m. news file. Air Wellness provides outlook for 2022. 6:07 p.m. Dow Jones. IMC announces filing of preliminary short-term base shelf prospectus. 8:15 p.m. last night from Access Newswire. All right, so that's pretty much the headlines from yesterday. Let's go back and run through a few and kind of discuss a few things. The first one I want to really look at here is this global hydroponics market. Global hydroponics market, it is estimated to account for $716.25 million by end of 2027, says Coherent Market Insights, CMI. All right, if you don't know what hydroponics is, it's basically a method of cultivating plants in water, either a solution of oxygen and minerals, nutrient solution on air. I do have some experience in hydroponics. It is a interesting way to grow things. It's pretty cool, honestly. I've grown in soil, hydroponics, kind of the aeroponics, never the aquaponics with the fishes. But anyway, hydroponics is, a pretty easy way to grow if you have everything correct. But like any grow, any garden, any kind of plant situation, there's some work. So hydroponic systems provide a controlled environment for plants to thrive. There are advantages of hydroponics, disadvantages, such as low water usage, the need for a constant and adequate nutrient source, direct exposure to sunlight, indirect sunlight, and lack of plant density in the soil. The scope and natures of hydroponics are vast. Hydroponics has a great demand, especially in the emerging countries. Hydroponics is an effective solution to grow crops at a lower cost with a better yield. Hydroponics is the science of growing plants in containers using water and nutrients under controlled conditions for better crop production. So yeah, that's pretty much hydroponics. So it looks like with The future is going to come more use for this, especially with the cannabis industry and emerging countries. It says here, key players involved in the global hydroponics market are Argus Control Systems Limited, Hortus Systems UK Limited, Thanet Earth, Kubo Group, TerraTech, Green Tech Agro LLC, Grow Life, Heliospectra AB, General Hydroponics Incorporated, American Hydroponics Incorporated, and Lumigrow. A lot of those names are familiar to me. Grow Life, if I remember right, the symbol was PHOT. I actually, back in the day, in the beginning of my cannabis stock investing career in 2012, it's one of the early stocks I bought. Also, TerraTech falls into that category too, and there's several other ones. But yeah, they're the picks and shovels, man. I mean, it's, you gotta have these systems and these lights and these nutrients to be able to produce this product that it seems like everyone wants. So when you're looking at ideas for your strategy in the sector, definitely look at these companies that do this, have these stores. Scott's Miracle Grow, SMG, is they're kind of like the big tobacco, big alcohol of the picks and shovels. They have the infrastructure. They've bought up countless of these smaller hydroponics companies and now offer that, as part of their online presence. So I mean, and they give it a little bit of a dividend. I have had them in the past, and I'm not opposed to them. They kind of turned down on me when I first bought them. I don't think I did much at all with them. But picks and shovels, check them out. It's the hydroponics is a lot of these big grows that's the way they've got to go, just for efficiency's sake. All right, next story I want to look at is the Power REIT acquires property in Colorado for greenhouse cannabis cultivation. PW is a symbol. $37.69 is what it's trading at right now. Power REIT acquires property in Colorado for greenhouse cannabis cultivation in highly accretive transaction. That's a juicy headline. Power REIT, REIT. On the American Stock Exchange, you can find it at PW. Today announced that it has acquired an additional 2.2-acre parcel in Crowley County, Colorado. Through a wholly owned subsidiary, the property is strategically located in a part of southern Colorado that offers very favorable business setting and growing environments for efficient and sustainable greenhouse cultivation. As part of the transaction, Power REIT has agreed to fund the construction of approximately 24,512 square foot greenhouse and processing space for its new tenant, Gas Station LLC. Power REIT's total capital commitment for the project is approximately $2.1 million, including the land acquisition cost. Concurrent with the acquisition, PropCo entered into a 20-year triple net lease. The lease with Gas Station will operate a cannabis cultivation facility. The lease requires Gas Station to pay all the property-related expenses, including maintenance, insurance, and taxes. After the initial 20-year term, the lease provides 2 5-year renewable options and has a personal guarantee from the owners of Gas Station. As mandated by the lease, Gas Station will maintain a medical marijuana license and will operate in accordance with all Colorado and municipal regulations. The lease also prohibits retail sales of its products from the property. Okay, sounds like they've got another customer. That's great. Power REIT, PW. I've got them on a watch list. I haven't put